What is up, everybody? Welcome to the pre-party, a presentation of Alliance-Wrestling.com, your number one source for news and information for the National Wrestling Alliance. My name is Jay Cal, and I'm here every single Tuesday, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 o'clock Pacific, the hour before Power, to talk NWA with you. Like-minded NWA fans everywhere, this is the podcast for you, the live stream. And I see some of my pals, some of my friends are already in the chat. I want to say what's up to Bobby Petito, Willie Bowen, and for all of you who also are watching, thank you so much for being a part of the show. Thank you so much for spending your Tuesdays with me as we get you ready for NWA Power. We're coming off a pretty big week in pro wrestling. We're coming off a pretty big, weekend of pro wrestling. If you guys hadn't heard, there was a little show in Dallas called WrestleMania, and subsequently there were wrestling promotions operating at all hours of the day leading up to WrestleMania. Our own friends over at the Iconic Heroes of Wrestling Excellence, they did their show Thursday night. We had talked about that. Of course, Game Changer Wrestling was down there. New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong. Of course, Ring of Honor made their triumphant return in Dallas. We had Impact Wrestling. AAA was there. So many wrestling promotions were a part of the weekend's festivities. And if you were there, I'm sure you got to see sorry about that. I'm sure you got to see a lot of excellent and fun wrestling shows. And our very own NWA World Tag Team Champions were in the house. La Rebellion defending the titles at AAA Wrestling. They also defended the titles at another show, Gulf Coast Wrestling Alliance. They were defending the titles there. So it was a very busy weekend for a lot of NWA talents. Our world's heavyweight champion, Matt Cardona, was in the house, and he was defending the Digital Media Championship, the Impact title. He defended that title at Game Changer Wrestling against Zicky Dice. Excuse me, that wasn't at Game Changer Wrestling. That was at a different show. But he was at Game Changer Wrestling, and you know who he faced at Game Changer Wrestling? Well, he faced the United Wrestling Network World Champion. Now, we know that this wasn't a bout that was sanctioned by the United Wrestling Network, nor was it sanctioned by the NWA. Neither title was on the line. But does it make anyone else feel a little bit weird when they see the United Wrestling Network World Champion pinning Matt Cardona? Does that make you feel a little bit squeamish? If you are an NWA fan, to see Matt Cardona on his back while Chris Dickinson is counted 1, 2, 3, doesn't that make you a little perturbed? Why in the world is the NWA World's Heavyweight Champion doing the job to the United Wrestling Network World Champion? Now, to be fair, this show was not booked by the NWA. The show was not booked by the United Wrestling Network. These two men entered the ring not as World's Heavyweight Champions or World Champions, but just Chris Dickinson, the Filthy Father, and always ready Matt Cardona. But does this pass the smell test for you? Does this bother you? I can't wait to see what you guys say here in the chat. I know we have a lot of diehard Matt Cardona fans. Big Chris Dog, if he's here, I would love to hear the opinion of you NWA wrestling fans who see your world's heavyweight champion on his back as Chris Dickinson gets the 1, 2, 3. I mean, I understand that the NWA is not the highest priority for Matt Cardona. I feel like maybe his time with Impact Wrestling is where his bread and butter is made. I feel like perhaps maybe Matt Cardona's ventures outside of the National Wrestling Alliance take the highest amount of priority. However, you are the world's heavyweight champion. You carry the 10 pounds of gold. And in the old days, right? In the old days, pre-internet, if the world champion had a non-title match and lost, and nobody would have heard about it, no one would have talked about it, no one would have thought about it. But we live in a day and age now where everybody is witnessing what's happening. Not only are the wrestling shows producing content at a rate that's lightning quick, hell, most of these shows were available for pay-per-view through fight.tv, and you could have watched these shows live. Others will be streaming their shows later or putting them up on YouTube. And the fans there have access to cameras, to phones that record just as good quality as some of the cameras that are recording the shows. There is no denying that the United Wrestling Network World Champion defeated the NWA World Heavyweight Champion in a non-title match. Now, personally, I love Chris Dickinson, and I'm a fan of the United Wrestling Network. I'm a fan of what David Marquez has been producing and has produced and will continue to produce, which is a great product and a champion who you could certainly get behind. Chris Dickinson, the dirty daddy, the filthy father. I mean, that guy pulled himself up from his bootstraps. He was an original for Game Changer Wrestling, and he's evolved. He's been a Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champion with Homicide. He is a former well, I guess not former. He's currently working with New Japan Strong. He still works Game Changer Wrestling, and he's appeared in, besides Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, he's appeared in multiple independent wrestling promotions. Matt Cardona is your NWA World's Heavyweight Champion, and his priorities, he's signed with Impact Wrestling. So although he does spend a lot of time making sure that the NWA is focused on his character and his development, he is everywhere. In fact, you could throw a rock at a wrestling show and you're more than likely to hit Matt Cardona. So to me, I'm a little perturbed by it. I'm a little bothered by it as an NWA fan, as a Chris Dickinson fan. It makes sense. I want to see what you guys say. I want to hear what you guys think. And I see Michael Manning just showed up. What's up, Michael? How you doing? Wrestling with the MMA, my good pal says, I'm not surprised Matt was looking at the lights. Nothing is stopping the dirty daddy. Exactly, right? The filthy father. I mean, that guy's been on a tear. He's been on a tear. So we'll see. Willie Bowen says, Matt Cardona should have put the NWA World Heavyweight Championship against Dickinson and the United Wrestling Network Championship. See, that would never happen because of I think because of the hostilities between the NWA and the United Wrestling Network. Although I think that would be fun. The sad thing is about this is Cardona was at several wrestling shows this weekend and did not defend the 10 pounds of gold once. We had La Rebellion out there defending the titles anywhere they could, whether it be AAA or even some of the smaller shows. So it's disappointing to me that, if Cardona was there, he should have been defending the title somewhere. Now, I get it. You have to be booked to defend the title. But it just feels like that was a missed opportunity for the NWA and for Matt Cardona. I get why AEW really didn't want to have shows down in Dallas during WrestleMania weekend. And I get why some promotions avoided the area altogether. I get that, but this is an opportunity that the NWA could have jumped on, and at least having their champion defend the title, making the rounds, could have been more beneficial for the NWA. I mean, he defended the Digital Media Championship against Zicky Dice. Now, I know they both work for Impact Wrestling, but could you imagine if that would have been the 10 pounds of gold? He was in a mixed tag match at the Impact pay-per-view of the multi-card of madness, where he teamed with his wife, Chelsea Green, representing Impact, to take on Aldis and Mickie James representing the NWA, which, again, this is kind of funny because the majority of Mickie James matches in the last year have been through Impact, not the NWA. And I would say even maybe the majority of Chelsea Green matches, it might be a toss-up between the NWA and Impact, right? Because she was at the 73rd. She wrestled at Empower. She's been on more than a few episodes of Power over the last year. So it just seems kind of like the whole thing seems kind of weird to me. It wasn't an NWA match. It wasn't an Impact match. It was an amalgamation of both promotions. And it's kind of funny because the storylines on both companies have been building towards it. So, maybe there is something more to that relationship of the NWA and Impact Wrestling. Bobby Batito says he's looking forward to seeing Rhett Titus wrestle tonight. I think this is going to be a great match. We'll get more into that momentarily, Bobby, but I agree. I think Rhett Titus and Darius Lockhart is going to be a lot of fun. Michael Manning brings up a good point. You never know when the match was first booked. And that's you're absolutely right. You're 100% right. I don't know. Maybe this match was booked 6 months ago before Cardona even had an inkling he'd be world's heavyweight champion. But I think once you become champion, you have some sort of what's the responsibility to the title. You have a responsibility to the NWA to make sure that when you're out there, that you're representing the NWA, that you take fullest advantage of that, and you don't allow yourself to look foolish, and you don't allow yourself to lose cleanly when you're the champion. And I know that's hard, and I know that's asking a lot. But I feel like if that was Nick Aldis, you wouldn't have seen him in the middle of the ring being pinned by Chris Dickinson. And maybe better to lose the booking than to lose the respect. But maybe I'm wrong. What do I know? Bobby Batito says, I liked Caprice Coleman's match on NWA USA last Saturday, and I like the Kenzie Page promo on NWA USA. I did not see the promo from Kenzie Page. I did see the match from Caprice Coleman. We talked about it last Thursday. Coleman is a workhorse, and we don't know in what capacity he will be with Ring of Honor going forward, if he's going to be a regular announcer or if that was just a one-off. But I do feel like Caprice Coleman is absolutely addition by his presence for the NWA. I think his promos are solid. His in-ring wrestling above average. I think you've got a guy who can really contribute to the show, and I hope they do something positive with him and put him in a position where he can succeed, and the NWA could benefit from him being there. And Terry, welcome to the show, brother. We were just talking about what happened over the weekend when we had the United Wrestling Network World Champion laying atop your power couple of the NWA. That would be Chelsea Green and Matt Cardona, who they wrestled at Game Changer Wrestling. And I say they, I mean Matt versus Chris Dickinson. And it looked like, you can see here from the picture, the referee's counting 3. Dickinson got the victory there. And I wonder, as an NWA fan, does that hurt the credibility of the 10 pounds of gold? Does it hurt the credibility of the National Wrestling Alliance? And I'd love to hear your guys' opinion on that. Bobby Batito says Natalia Markova did great on NWA USA last Saturday. Like I said, I did not finish the show, so I will be checking that out probably on Wednesday. And I hope that, I would like to see what Natalia Markova can and will do. Remember, she was such a part of the last season of both NWA USA and NWA Power. So I really hope they continue to put her in a spot where potentially she could be the next challenge for Camille. I mean, we saw Maddie wrestle Camille and had a great match, probably the breakthrough match for Maddie, and hopefully we'll see more of that in the future. But we still don't have a dominant role. We don't have a dominant figure in the women's division to challenge Camille. And it could be Markova. Hell, it could be Maddie emerging as the number one contender. We still have Kylie Ray. We still have Chelsea Green. Who knows? It could even be Mickie James at this point. But that women's division certainly has a lot of promise, and Markova certainly adds to it. So we'll see how that goes. Michael Manning says Cardona saying Aldis and James winning was lucky and funny considering they were both pinned. I mean, I'm piecing those together. In a tag match, I have less problem with Cardona taking a loss. But I do have a problem with one-on-one matches. Like if he lost to Zicky Dice, even though it was the Digital Media Championship, doesn't that still look bad for the NWA that its world champion took an L to Zicky Dice, and it's not saying Zicky Dice is bad. I'm not saying that. I'm saying anytime Cardona takes a loss at this point in a one-on-one match as the NWA World's Heavyweight Champion, it degrades the title, in my opinion. Willie Bowen says it doesn't hurt the credibility of the NWA, but it bruises the ego of Matt Cardona. That's certainly one option to look at it. I mean, again, you are the world's heavyweight champion, Matt Cardona. You're supposed to be always ready. And whether the title's on the line or not, the title you are synonymous with at this point is the 10 pounds of gold. Now, I know he holds the digital media title. I know he holds some lesser-known independent wrestling promotion titles. And heck, we know that Matt Cardona is scheduled to challenge Davey Richards for the belt. And we know that that's on its way too. And it's a title versus title match, the ASW Heavyweight Championship out in West Virginia, All-Star Wrestling. It's the 16-year anniversary show, and you're putting the ASW champion versus Matt Cardona. And I'm sure that, we might see some shenanigans in this event, but if we see anything other than Matt Cardona walking away with his hand raised, then to me, I feel like this is going to be, one, a blown opportunity, but two, another black eye for the NWA. The NWA is, even though the last couple of weeks of wrestling have been great, I don't think Power has been as good as it has been ever. This is it. This is the best we've had so far. I was very thrilled with the Crockett Cup. You guys heard me talk about that multiple times, about how good of a show Crockett Cup is. But if your world's heavyweight champion is doing the job all the way around, whether it be a non-title or not, the fact that Cardona goes down is not a good look for the NWA. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but that's exactly how I feel about it. Bobby Petito says he's looking forward to watching Lockhart and Titus tonight on Power. Me too, buddy. Me too, Bobby. Willie says this wouldn't happen to former NWA World's Heavyweight Champions Ric Flair and Jack Briscoe, Dusty Rhodes, Giant Baba, Nick Aldis. I mean, yeah, this doesn't happen to a lot of guys. I don't think Adam Pearce does the job in this. You find a way, for booking wise, if you have to lose, you find a way to lose where it doesn't hurt the credibility of the champion. And I know that Matt Cardona is just doing business, but the NWA needs to be protected. Billy Corgan has said that he's the steward of the 74-year legacy of the National Wrestling Alliance. And you put your title, you put your trust, you put your brand on the back of somebody who is working for everybody and anybody and doing anything. And I'm not trying to insult Chris Dickinson, because I think he is a 5-star athlete, 5-tool athlete. And I'm not putting down Game Changer Wrestling, although I find it odd that Game Changer Wrestling would have anything to do with the NWA. I just feel like this is an opportunity where Cardona could look strong on the indies and bring meaning to that title. And so far, I don't see it. Wrestling with MMA says, if a champion takes a loss, then the winner is a contender to go after the title. 100%. But I mean, we're not going to see Chris Dickinson challenge for the 10 pounds of gold. We know Davey Richards is going to challenge for the 10 pounds of gold. And then a few weeks before that, he's going to challenge for the United Wrestling Network World Championship. So, I mean, Davey Richards out there trying to do the damn thing. But, again, we're not going to see him win both titles. He might win one, but he isn't going to win both. Bobby Petito says he'd like to see more of Harry Smith in the NWA. Good news for you, Harry Smith fans, including you, Bobby Petito. Harry Smith is on the poster for the next Power Trip event that's going to be taking place in Oak Grove, Kentucky. And I believe the date on that was April 23rd, but I don't have the card information in front of me. That's a huge victory for the NWA, going back strong to Oak Grove, Kentucky. I know that's a big, big deal for the NWA, and they did create some pretty unique content at that show. Again, that's where we had Matt Cardona winning the 10 pounds of gold. So it is a significant venue and a significant vehicle for the NWA. So again, yes, more power trips, more shows in Oak Grove, Kentucky. There's been no date yet set for the next pay-per-view. Now, historically, last year when the NWA returned, we had that pay-per-view in March when Our Shadows Fall, Back for the Attack. And then we had another pay-per-view when Our Shadows Fall. And then we had the 74th anniversary with Empower. I don't know exactly how the formatting will be this year, but it seems to me that there should be a pay-per-view in between Crockett Cup and the 74th anniversary show, excuse me. So we'll see how that goes. Willie Bowen says, Viperous, Ruby Ray should be on the NWA women's roster. Well, Willie, I think you would know this about your boy Jay here. I'm about as big a Ray's fan there is. However, Ray's is currently under contract to the Women of Wrestling, which they will be making their debut television tapings for 2022 in May. I actually have tickets to go to the Saturday afternoon taping in downtown LA, which is a place I do not like to be, but I will go to see Wrestling as Venomous out there at the Women's Wrestling show. So I'm excited to see that, and I'll have pictures and stuff, and just stay tuned to the social medias, including our YouTube channel, where we've been uploading videos daily this week of they call them the YouTube shorts. We're just putting up like match entrances or parts of matches or promos. We're doing that every single day. I've gone back into the vaults, found some stuff from some of my earlier wrestling shows, stuff from like 2019, stuff from I have video footage going back to like 2011. So we're going to go deep diving into the vault, and I'll take you guys with me. Just make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube page, where we're already at 901 subscribers. And guys, when we get to 1,000, you guys saw our pal NWA Gold with us last week on the Alliance Guys podcast. When we hit 1,000 subscribers, that's when the channel gets monetized, meaning that's when your boy Jay might make a few pennies doing this podcast. But more importantly, we will be giving away a replica of the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship, the Crown Championship. You have your options. You could have Tim's 10 pounds of gold, or you could have Tim's Royal Crown Championship. And, that's the same title that they're using currently for the junior heavyweight division, the same style. So stay tuned. If this is your first time tuning into the show, make sure you hit that like, comment, and subscribe button so that you won't miss any more future shows, because we are going to have some fun here coming up real soon. Doty says Power Trip will be interesting. Hope Harry Smith will perform permanently with the NWA. Matt Cardona versus Harry Smith. Anyone? Oh, from your lips to Billy Corgan's ears, Doty. I think Harry Smith in that world title picture makes so much sense, too much sense, that it needs to happen. 100%. Now we have a list of challengers who are gunning for that 10 pounds of gold. And realistically, you have to include the national champion, who is the number one contender for the 10 pounds of gold. And you have to include the television champion, who is only 2 more matches away, 2 more victories away from being able to cash in his opportunity for the 10 pounds of gold. So you've got Jax Dane, who just defeated Mr. Anthony Mayweather at the Crockett Cup 2022 to become your national champion. You've got Tyrus, who has 5 victories now, 5. So he needs 2 more victories to move on to challenge the world's heavyweight champion, whoever the man is carrying the 10 pounds of gold. But then as we look at the roster and we look at things that are becoming more becoming of itself, you've got the Pope, who still has his championship cash-in from the championship series going back before Hard Times. So he has an opportunity to challenge for the 10 pounds of gold. Nick Aldis is certainly not satisfied with the end result of Crockett Cup 2022. He would like to challenge for that 10 pounds of gold. And then you've got the man who lost the belt who hasn't had a rematch yet. And I'm talking about Trevor Murdoch, an angrier, more focused Trevor Murdoch. So just now, just right this minute, within the NWA, you have 5 viable, readily available, genuine contenders for the 10 pounds of gold. 5 challengers who make sense storyline wise, who make sense also through the rules of the universe, if you will, the being the number 1 contenders national champion, to have that championship series buy-in, to have the opportunity for the lucky 7 with the television championship. So daddy, you got 5 challengers for that 10 pounds of gold. That's something we haven't seen in quite some time with the NWA, and it's something that makes so much sense. Now, the next step is guys like Harry Smith. If you could put Harry Smith into the 10 pounds of gold matchup, I'm all for it, brother. I'm all for it. I think it makes so much sense, and I would love to see it. Let's see. More of your comments. Michael Manning says, I hope the Briscoes stick around somehow. So I don't know what the results of the Ring of Honor Super Card of Honor mean for the talent that appeared on the show. Now, we know that your Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions are now the FTR. And essentially, the Briscoes are now without those tag titles. We also know that Rhett Titus is lost his television title. So both of those, or all 3 of those talents, are presumably not affiliated with the Ring of Honor. They're not signed to AEW, and we don't know who makes up the Ring of Honor roster just yet. So with that being said, I think Rhett Titus and the Briscoes make a lot of sense to stick around with the NWA, considering the ease of being on television. You have to really legitimately give up 4 days a quarter, not a month, not a week, a quarter, to be a part of the NWA, and you're on television for weeks. That's one of the benefits, actually, of this quarterly taping system. You're on the pay-per-view and you stick around for TV taping afterwards. That verifiably puts your face on the program, whether it be Power or USA, up until the next pay-per-view. Now, maybe you're not on every episode, sure, but you're going to be a part of that show. And if you're somebody like the Briscoes, that's a huge deal, because you need that visibility. You need to keep being on TV or on wrestling programming to let people not forget who you are, what you're capable of, and what you can do. And just like the Briscoes, Rhett Titus is also a very good competitor. And really both sets of those people, the Rhett Titus and the former tag team champions, them boys, really worked to elevate the roster of the NWA. They brought them in, with a quote unquote right way, and it helps make the NWA better. Just like if we continue to see the original Kingdom as part of the NWA, they help bring up the value of that tag team division. So again, I agree with you, Michael. I hope they stick around. I think they will. I really do. Bobby Petito says he would like to see the Homicide versus Caprice Coleman for the junior heavyweight title. Yeah, I like that. I mean, look, Caprice Coleman, it's kind of hard to put him in that junior heavyweight class, because although he might actually weigh that much, he appears to be much bigger. So it's kind of hard to see, like, if that makes sense for the NWA. Bobby also says that he would like to see. Oh, sorry, we did that one. Will All Day will be on Championship Wrestling from Memphis last Saturday. Yeah, it seems like there's some sort of working agreement with Reality of Wrestling and the United Wrestling Network, both in Memphis and in the Championship Wrestling series. I saw Booker T live at the television taping, and he had mentioned by name Will All Day, along with some of the talent from Championship Wrestling. So we'll see how that works out, how that goes. Willie Bowen would like to see Brian Cage wrestling in the NWA. I still think his contract got picked up from AEW. So I think he's going to be at AEW for a little bit longer. We'll just have to kind of wait and see. but that's what I hear so far. Doty says, I hope Tim Storm wins tonight, so we'll have to see Matt Cardona versus Tim Storm for the NWA title. Doty, I think your wish may come true. Did you see the tenacity in Tim Storm's eyes when he was acknowledging what Mr. Cardona had to say about him and the NWA? That's a fierce look that I haven't seen in Nick's eyes since Josephus. He didn't look that fired up when he was talking about Aldis. So yeah, I'm good. I'm excited for that. I would like to see Tim Storm, and I don't know what's going to happen. We'll see tonight. We'll see momentarily. We're about 30 minutes away from your debut of NWA Power tonight, and I certainly believe that Tim Storm has more than enough tenacity to walk out of that match as a champion. Well, not the champion, but as a contender, as a challenger, qualify. I don't know what you want to call it, but Tim Storm has mettle, and it's been tested throughout the years. You got to remember, he beat Jack Stain to become world's champion, and when he lost to Nick Aldis, it wasn't a squash. He didn't job out. Like, Nick Aldis had to beat him, and that was after holding the title for quite a long time. So we'll see. Michael Manning has been waiting on Harry Smith title shot since Billy bought the promotion. In a perfect world, Michael Manning, in Jake House fantasy land, somehow, someway, the NWA gets to the United Kingdom, gets to Wembley Stadium, and puts on the match of a lifetime. Nick Aldis, your world's heavyweight champion, Harry Smith, the challenger, in a matchup that would make people have all the feels of Davey Boy versus Bret Hart from, what was it, 1991, 1990? If your boy Jake Howe was in charge, things would be so much different. Willie Bowen says, Tyrus should challenge a rotisserie chicken. Willie, you always make me laugh, man. Thank you for that. Bobby Petito says, more Jamie Stanley on the NWA, and I agree. The problem is, and I think Doty just nailed it, is Jamie Stanley and El Rudo. We need more Rude dudes. They're set up as a tag team, and it's a great looking tag team. We haven't seen a lot of success for the pair, but they have a great look. The problem is that with El Rudo, Sam Adonis wrestling in AAA and making that his priority. Again, we talked about priorities earlier with Matt Cardona. We saw how the OGK had to miss the first rounds of the Crockett Cup because of their obligations to Impact Wrestling. It's likewise Sam Adonis's El Rudo's, excuse me. Oh, I don't know where that came from. El Rudo's connection to AAA is always going to make that his priority while he's under contract. That's just how it goes. So as much as I think the Rude Dudes would be a fun tag team and it'd be nice to see more of them, I don't know if we're going to. I mean, even still, like we have, I know El Rudo came back for the tapings, but, he wasn't a part of the Crockett Cup at all. Wrestling with MMA, doing the Lord's work here. If you're new to the stream, thanks for checking us out. If you like what you see, hit that thumbs up. If you feel so inclined, subscribe and share with your friends. That's always the important part, is sharing with your friends. This community is built on the backs of all of us like-minded fans. We don't have to agree on everything. Hell, we don't have to agree on anything. But the idea is that we have this conversation. I have a camera in front of me and a microphone that I speak into. But I listen to your guys' points and I communicate with you guys not only here on the stream and the live stream, but we also talk on Thursday nights and all on social media. If you guys DM me on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, I do respond. And I respond to tweets too. So if you guys want to talk wrestling, we could do it here on camera. We could do it on Twitter or on Instagram or anywhere else. It's at the Alliance Blog everywhere you look. So be part of this community. Appreciate it. Michael Manning, I appreciate you being here, brother. I hope you heard me put over the United Kingdom in Wembley Stadium. Have a good night, sir. Should I get a countdown clock? That's something I hadn't thought about before, but that'd be kind of cool. Bobby Batista says, what do you think of 5 legitimate contenders for the Junior Heavyweight Championship? Well, I mean, they don't exactly have 5, right? And we know that Jay Spade is your number 1 contender. You cannot argue with me on that one. In terms of like where there are 2 built-in opportunities to get a shot at the 10 pounds of gold, as of right now, there is not that opportunity with the junior heavyweight title. Now we could assume that Colby Corino would use his championship buy-in to get a shot at the 10 pounds of gold or the junior heavyweight title. Really, he has an opportunity to go anywhere. And likewise, Velvet Sky still has possession of her championship series cash in. So really, I mean, Colby Corino, the world is his oyster. He could literally challenge for any title, any male title within the NWA. Of course, Velvet Sky couldn't actually wrestle for the 10 pounds of gold, but she could nominate somebody to wrestle in that spot in really any of the divisions in any of the roster. I mean, if she were so inclined, her and Angelina Love could come and challenge Hex for the tag titles. She could come out of retirement and challenge Camille for the Women's World Championship, the Burke. Or she could nominate somebody to wrestle on her behalf for the world's title or the junior heavyweight title, so on and so forth. And my boy Heebs is here. What's up? How you doing, Heebs? Sean Mega says Rudo in the main storyline in AAA. Yeah, he's with Jarrett, which I think is pretty cool. And I would love for that storyline to spill into the NWA somehow. Right now, though, I feel like the NWA is going to continue to work with with Impact, and their storylines aren't going to be very. They're not going to spill over too much. We might see more Aldis in the NWA, but I think only as a foil for Cardona and maybe even the digital media title. Willie Bowen says next year the Crockett Cup winners should be number 1 contenders for the World Tag Team Championship. I mean, in some ways, you could probably make the case that they are. I don't think there's any doubt about it that the Briscoes and La Rebellion will be facing off against each other very soon. If not on Power, maybe that's setting up for the next pay-per-view or premiere live event, which takes place at Oak Grove, Kentucky. Power Trip 2. Chris Drummond says, I think the Crockett Cup should be bi-yearly, not every year. Make it feel special. I don't hate that idea. I just think if you have something that makes sense, that you roll with it. And I think that's why they will continue to roll with the Crockett Cup, because it adheres to the legacy of the Jim Crockett era of the NWA, but it also pays homage to those tag teams of the past, pays homage to tag team wrestling in general. It gives you some fresh faces that can come in and help build the NWA or help bring some notoriety to the NWA. And when you've got a tag team like the Briscoes winning it all, I don't think anyone has a problem with the Briscoes winning it all. And it certainly gives them leverage to challenge for the tag titles at some point. So I kind of like it. Sorry, Chris, I disagree with you. Bobby Batista says he'd like to see more of Aya Davari. I don't know if Davari's still with the NWA. I think it's, maybe he is. I don't really know. Heebs is asking, will Tim Storm win the title shot tonight? Yeah, the match is for a title shot. So if he beats Cardona tonight, Heebs, then he gets a shot at the 10 pounds of gold. Tonight's matchup is non-title. So win, lose, or draw, Cardona's title is not on the line tonight. But if Storm wins by hook or by crook, then that means that he and Cardona will have a title match at some point. Doty says, yes, the winner of the Crockett Cup should earn the number 1 contenders for the tag titles. Yeah, I agree. 100% I agree. Heeb says, and maybe I was getting confused there, Heeb says that Davari is also working as a producer for the NWA. So if that's the case, then 100% he should be on TV. And as Heeb also points out, he's advertised for a match, maybe USA this weekend. So there you go. More Davari is coming. So now we're looking at tonight's matchups. Now, again, it's going to be a pretty in my opinion, the show looks pretty good so far. You've got the matchup that's going to be for an opportunity. It's not a number one contendership. It's not a championship series buy-in. But if Tim Storm can defeat Matt Cardona tonight, he will get a shot at the 10 pounds of gold. Also on the card is the Bodyslam Challenge. The Bodyslam Challenge. If Cyon did accept Tyrus' slam challenge. If Cyon could slam Tyrus, then they will get Cyon will get a title match at the television champion. Now, let's be honest. Being perfectly honest, I don't foresee anyone picking up Tyrus. The three guys that I thought could do it, two of them are injured right now. We know that Chris Adonis is hurt. We know that Tom Latimer is hurt. And I don't know what the status is of Harry Smith, but this would be much akin to Lex Luger body slamming Yokozuna on the USS Fitzgerald or whichever Navy battleship that was in like 1992 that kicked off the Lex Express and made Lex Luger a babyface in the WWE. Slamming Yokozuna was a damn near impossible feat. And currently in the NWA, not too many guys look capable of slamming one Tyrus. I mean, the guy that could probably do it the easiest would be Johnny Yuma, right? Captain Yuma. I mean, I know that's not going to happen, but wouldn't that blow your mind if he did it? Would you pop if Yuma slammed Tyrus? I would. Am I the only one? Maybe. Teeb says if Daivari is a producer, he's kind of young, potentially a cool perk for someone to work for the NWA and also learn some producer chops. 100%. I mean, one of the things about Adam Pearce that not too many people know is while he was the world's heavyweight champion for 5 times in the National Wrestling Alliance from 2007 to about 2012, he had defended the 10 pounds of gold pretty much everywhere. But there was a time where he had kind of taken a hiatus from the WWE when he lost the belt to Blue Demon Jr. Blue Demon Jr. was a great representation of the Hispanic-speaking market, the Latinx market that makes up Southern California, Arizona, parts of Texas, New Mexico, Florida, the whole, I guess, Sun Belt, if you will. And when Blue Demon Jr. was world champion, you would see him wrestling on smaller arena shows in Nevada, in Southern California, Northern California, in Phoenix, Arizona. So he was getting some opportunities to showcase that 10 pounds of gold in these higher profile matches. But Adam Pearce, during that time, who kind of stepped away from 100% active wrestling, was doing a lot of behind the scene works for Ring of Honor. Did you guys know that? He was helping put matches together, kind of working as an agent / producer for Ring of Honor in those days when they were on the back then it was the HD Net channel, the Mark Cuban's HD Net. So a lot of the Jerry Lynn stuff, if you guys remember Jerry Lynn in Ring of Honor. So that was a very smart move for Pearce to do. And essentially his time with Ring of Honor is what led to him getting an opportunity to coach and help develop in the WWE farm system. So long before he was on TV, he was helping train the youths of NXT. So yeah, I think it's a smart move for Daivari. It helps gain him so much potential within the industry, not just the NWA. And then Willie Bowen says that Mims could slam Lard, but I mean he could. And what a great moment that would be for the NWA and for Mims. I think by slamming Tyrus, I think that really would gain some credibility on the young man Mims, and it would be a lot of fun. And then Terry McDermott says, regardless, Mims should get a TV shot next week. I'm all for it, man. Like I said earlier in the show, the more competitors you have ready to challenge for that 10 pounds of gold, the better off we are. And if Tyrus can get to that next level, so be it. It's going to be great. He says, I can see Tyrus showboating a little bit and standing on a reinforced turnbuckle, and a smaller guy could slam him from that. That could happen too, man. Captain Yuma. Bobby Petito says Alex Taylor did a great against Caprice Coleman last Saturday on NWA USA. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? For a good match, it has to have a good opponent. It's not just one person that carries the match. So that's good to hear. Like I said, I watched the Caprice Coleman match. I was happy with his in-ring work. Alex Taylor looked okay where he was. I mean, he was there to take the loss, so he did a good job. Heeb says Coleman's offense was so cool and so simple. Yeah, and I saw that you were talking about that in the Discord channel when he did the ring around the Rosie type deal with the ring post where he kind of slid across the ring, that small little section of the ring, to deliver a kick to Alex Taylor. I thought that was pretty cool too. So we have Captain Yuma says Homicide versus Captain Yuma for the junior title. I mean, why not, right? Peter Avalon is getting a shot at the junior heavyweight championship, so why the heck not with Yuma? They used to be best buds. Why not? Then also the other match for the night, Darius Lockhart versus Rhett Titus. Now, either one of these guys could potentially become a number one contender for the World Junior Heavyweight Championship. Now, Rhett Titus recently lost his Ring of Honor television title to Minoru Suzuki, which, I mean, I don't know what that means for him going forward, but definitely relieves him of his Ring of Honor obligations. Rhett Titus is a solid performer in ring. He does a great job. He looks good. I'm excited to see what he's going to continue to bring to the table. He's had two really good matches, one against Austin Aries and the other against Cody Rhodes. I almost said Cody Rhodes. Colby Corino. So I'm looking forward to this match very, very much. And then, of course, Darius Lockhart had a strong outing at the Crockett Cup, did not come away as champion, but I think he did make quite a few fans there at the fairgrounds. So it'll be good to see what's up with them and how they will proceed going forward for the junior heavyweight division, which Bobby Petito says that he would like to see more of Jay Spade. And I got to agree with that. I think Jay Spade, they said that he wasn't at the last TV taping because of travel issues. And I don't believe that's entirely accurate. But, whatever reason it takes to get Jay Spade back on my TV at some point would be a good thing. Heaps says, I wonder if they forgot Jay Spade won a junior heavyweight title shot. Heaps, they at least acknowledged it last week on Power. Joe Galley did. Excuse me, not Power, on USA. They acknowledged it and even said that he had car issues. Pipe Picasso says, did Tyrus turn down his Lucky 7 stipulation just to keep the TV title? Pipe, my man, he's only at 5. Rodney Mack, which was a pretty decent match for Tyrus, has only got 5 victories. So defeating Rodney Mack was lucky number 5. He still has to go through 2 more individuals before he could challenge for the 10 pounds of gold. And then Heeb says he's not to 7 yet, just been champ forever. Yeah, it's been a slow burn. The one thing you could say about the Pope when he was television champion is that he took that belt and he was wrestling quite religiously with it, to the point where the NWA would have a qualifying match on week 1, and by week 2, Pope was already wrestling that competitor who won the qualifying match. And they did that multiple times. It's good. It's good for the NWA because it makes the champion look like he's a legitimate contender to win that Lucky 7. But it's also good to bring a lot of talents in to get these opportunities that perhaps they wouldn't get otherwise. And I really feel like that helps the cause with whoever your TV champion is. At the time, it was the Pope. So we'll just have to wait and see that. But getting back to it, and then, of course, in your main event tonight, a non-title match for an opportunity to wrestle for a title. I know it's a little bit convoluted, and I know it's a little silly, but if Tim Storm grabs that damn brass ring tonight and gets another shot at the NWA World Heavyweight Championship, he kind of has bucked the system and told Billy Corgan to jump in the leg. Because if he wins that opportunity to challenge for the 10 pounds of gold, he'll do something that Cody Rhodes can do in AEW. And that is to get that cliched exempt status removed from him and allowed to challenge for the 10 pounds of gold. Pipe Picasso says that the TV title should be defended every single week. And Pipe, I agree, man. I feel like you now have more television time than you had previously. You're also doing more pay-per-views. Well, maybe not more, but you have potential to do more. And I think by bringing back the Pope, excuse me. I'm so sorry, guys. Something caught me today. I'm so very sleepy right all of a sudden. With the TV championship, the Pope was defending not every week, but definitely monthly. He was there to defend the title against everyone that had one opportunity to face him. Tyrus has had a lackluster amount of challengers. Remember, he beat Black G's. He's beaten Jordan Clearwater. Both of those guys are under the same umbrella with the Austin Idol Sports Management, Idolmania Sports Management. So it's not really that impressive where, you had the Pope out there wrestling whoever won the match for the number one contenders match. So you can't really compare apples to apples on this one. It's more like apples to, pears. Similar but different. Dodie says, imagine the 10 pounds of gold and Gutfield show around the Tyrus' shoulder. Nobody wants him to become world champion, but imagine if that happened. Look, I could see that happening for all the reasons that you just acknowledged, that it would be putting that 10 pounds of gold on TV. Oh, you can see my flash drives. Sloppy. You could, it would give them the opportunity to showcase that 10 pounds of gold on Fox News. And although that's not a wrestling network, it just puts eyeballs on a product. The TV title, look, that championship belt is not synonymous with the NWA. You see it everywhere. Now, us diehard NWA fans know what that is. But when you look at the 10 pounds of gold, there's nothing like that out there today. There's nothing that looks like that belt. And if Tyrus were your NWA World Heavyweight Champion and he strolled into Fox News with that thing, it has a very distinct look. And it's not just some wrestling belt. It is the grandfather of pro wrestling in this country. So I really feel like it's imperative that title not be on Tyrus's waist, because although it would get some mainstream media exposure, it still is not the same as it being on somebody who can actually wrestle. Bobby Bettino says Joe Galley did say last week on USA that Homicide versus Jay Spade for the junior heavyweight title will happen on a future episode of USA. And that is the home, the national title and the junior heavyweight title were supposed to be the featured parts of NWA USA. And we've yet to see a national title match on that program. But we do see promos that had involved both Jack Stane as champion and Chris Adonis as champion. A couple weeks back, we had Marche Rocket wrestle a match that if he defeated Adonis, he'd get a shot at Adonis. Of course, he lost. And then in between that, Marche Rocket challenging his next time. Before getting the next opportunity, Anthony Mayweather bested Adonis to become champion, and then Jack Stane beat him. So by the time that USA came back around again, the opponent now became Marche Rocket versus who did he face? Oh, I think he faced man, I'm drawing a complete blank. I don't remember who he faced. Whoa, that's not good, Jay. Anyways, we'll just keep going. So the TV title has been featured, the national title has been featured on USA, but not to the extent I thought we would see. We've already seen the junior heavyweight title be defended both on Power and on USA. So, and yeah, it was. Thank you, Bobby. It was Jay Bradley. So yeah, Jay Bradley. And Jack Stain even said on commentary or on a promo beforehand, what did either one of these guys do to deserve a title shot? Which I have to agree with them. Pipe Picasso says 10 pounds of gold would need belt extensions for Tyrus 100%. Sean Vega says, take a 5-hour energy shot. I used to love those 5-hour energy shots. And then I started drinking like Monster. And then I was drinking Bang and Rain and all the energy drinks. And I've been trying to cut back because I so much caffeine. I'm having trouble sleeping at night. But all of a sudden today, man, it's hit me like right in the face. Oh, it's terrible. So tired. Sean Vega says, is Donna's coming back as a baby face? I mean, maybe. Or is Tom Latimer and Camille becoming baby faces? Is this like a double switch, or are we just seeing, Camille and Latimer making that move to baby face? Oh, Doty, don't call me out. I don't want to get fixed. The Fixers rule. They were my picks to win the Crockett Cup. Come on. Cut your boy Jay some slack. Yeah, I probably should. I do drink a lot of coffee on the weekends, but I don't typically drink it during the week, Rick, but I might need to start. I don't want to do the energy drinks much more because, like I said, I'm generally getting like 3 to 4 hours of sleep a night, and that's not good. But I don't want to be slamming coffee all day either, so we'll see. Heeb says, I used to take them 3-hour energy shots before I played football. Not sure how I ever pooped my pants. You got me, Heebs. Yeah, I mean, they certainly, the caffeine and sugar combination certainly does something to you. You got me on that one. I used to joke around on Facebook that I wanted 5-hour energy to sponsor me because I used to drink it so much. In fact, when I went to China, here's some behind the scenes information. I didn't know what the situation was going to be like with the food in China. So like I literally packed like maybe a dozen of the 5-hour energy drinks, the Costco brand, not the actual 5-hour energy, and some beef jerky and some nuts because I didn't know what the food situation was going to be. And I didn't know how much my hotel was going to cost. And I kind of spent a decent amount of money just on the plane ticket. So I wasn't going to spend a lot of money on food if I could avoid it. And all the breakfasts were included, and the sponsors took us out to dinner. And then a couple of times I had McDonald's in China. You know what? It's actually better in China than it was in the U.S. Yeah, so there's a little bit behind the scenes China story. Bobby says he'd like to see Eric Jackson in the NWA. I'm not familiar with Eric Jackson, Bobby. When you have time, clip a YouTube video or something and tweet it at me, and I'll take a look at it. Pipe says, I still don't trust that snake in the grass Aldis. I mean, look, he's he's never been my biggest fan to begin with. And although I will say nothing negative about him as a pro wrestler, Aldis he's a 5-tool athlete. I keep saying that because he's got a great body. He's got a great look. He's a great wrestler. He cuts a great promo, and he has that presence. And that's very far and few in between for the NWA. You look at Cody Rhodes, who just appeared at WrestleMania. He was a guy that totally would have worked for the NWA. Of course, he would work anywhere. But when he won the NWA World Heavyweight Championship, it was believable. He had that je ne sais quoi, that presence, the look, the ability to cut promos, the ability to wrestle in the ring. He's not going to win 5-star matches from Meltzer, but he's going to make it believable in the ring. Same thing with Aldis. And honestly, it's the same thing with Cardona. We just need Cardona to keep the NWA World Title more focused and more make that the paramount of the Cardona experience, if you will. Shashwars, thanks for checking us out, man. I do appreciate you coming in. And yeah, that's me exactly. Yon. And thanks, Sweet Vanilla. That's me as well. Thank you. Wait, I don't think we could say that on the show, Sean. Yeesh. Oh, wait, I wasn't supposed to put that on camera. I was trying to block. Oh, what a day. What a day. The camera's going down. Oh my God. Yeah, the McDonald's. Yeah, I'm not a big McDonald's guy. My kids love it, but no. Sean Mega says Aldis does great work on keeping 100 with Conan. I mean, he's great for publicity. On Busted Open, he's always very quick-witted, very charming, very likable. And that's also something you need in your champion, is to be likable. That's probably the only difference between him and Matt Cardona. Dodie says here in Indonesia, McDonald's fried chicken is more popular than the burgers because McDonald's burger sucks. Yeah, yes, Dodie. I mean, we don't have the fried chicken option. We have chicken sandwiches. Bobby Batito says Ella Envy was on AEW Dark Elevation yesterday. That's great, man. That's good for her. She really impressed me. Her and Kenzie Page, I'd like to see a lot more of both of them. Pipe, you're right. It's almost showtime. So with that, we're going to end the show. I do appreciate you guys being here, man. This is so much fun. And even though I've been yawning a lot, I really do enjoy the commentary, the dialogue, and the discussion. For more Discord, go to our Discord channel or just message us on Facebook, social media, all that good stuff. Until next time, you bunch of ham sandwich jabronis, I'll see you at the matches. Thanks for checking out the pre-party, a presentation of Alliance-Wrestling.com. You should hit that subscribe button and join our community. I also want to remind you that we recap NWA Power every Thursday at 8 p.m. in the live stream. We try to stay social, so find us at the Alliance blog. And until next time, we are the Alliance.